Hey guys, today I want to show you this cool new radio from Retevis. This is the Ailunce HS4. It's a 10 meter radio, but as you guys know on this channel, we review CBs, not ham radios. So let's turn this thing into a CB. You press and hold the function button and the emergency button and the on-off knob. Hold those two buttons down, the function and the emergency, and then turn the radio on. And you see it says 1 band. Now if we turn that knob, change it to 2 band. Now press and hold that function button. And when it says RES, reset on the screen, wait. And as soon as it says reset end, now we can turn off the radio, turn it back on, and look at that. We're now a CB radio. Alright, now that we got it where we want it to be, let's talk about some of the cool stuff on this radio. It's got the new and old look all at the same time. We have the nice screen, but yet we still have a channel display. We have function buttons and menus, but we have all the knobs. I do really like this setup on this radio. The knobs, well, they're a little hard to see in the dark because the knobs are black and they blend in, but the radio itself is nice at night. All of this being all backlit, this is when the lights are off at night, this is a really cool looking radio on my desk. We have the volume and squelch knob, echo controls for the time and the tone, RF gain and RF power. Let's turn that RF power all the way up. RF gain is all the way up. We have the band knob, which we're on the CB band, so we're going to be on band D, which I should have showed you that before turning it into a CB. A, B, C, and D, I believe, were all the same. It had the same frequencies in it before turning it into a CB. Then we have our mode, which this radio does PA, Morse code, the CW, AM, FM, upper sideband, and lower sideband. And later on, I'm going to show you a cool feature that goes along with the CW. And we'll find that it can also be useful for other things. We'll get into that shortly. We have the clarifier here. With the clarifier on this radio is pretty unique. I currently have it set so that, oh, no I don't. I forgot that I reset everything. Right now it's currently set on fine tune, so you notice that last digit is changing with movement of the clarifier. And you notice that too? The clarifier clicks. It's not a smooth infinite setting, it's a click. But it doesn't have stops. So you mean you can go all the way around and you see where a full turnaround, look, it keeps on going. But let's go back. Put that back on 0. Now, if we push that clarifier, and we have the beep on, so it made a beep at us, we just moved it over to that second digit. So now when we move the clarifier, we're moving the second digit. Press it again, and it moves that one. Now here's another cool feature about this one. Press it one more time, and now that 5, it'll go half channel at a time. So you have, but now if we press it again, we'll get back to that. Press it again, and now it's on the 8. Press it again, and we're back to the 0. So we have one option to get to that one. Press it again, it's now on that second one. The third time, when it's on that one, wait for it to stop blinking, and you see it goes up 1 digit at a time. Press it one more time. Now when you turn it, you go half a channel. So now if you're on 38 and somebody says, hey, can you go to 380? Okay, I'm there. There's a few channels that are pretty popular. 40 is the same thing. 400 is a very popular frequency. So I keep it set for that. Nowadays, there's hardly ever anybody that's off frequency anymore. The clarifiers are becoming a thing of the past. We're needing them less and less. All these newer radios are right on frequency. All right, up here on the buttons, we have the function button, which if you press and long hold it, it gets you into the menu, and there's a lot of controls in this menu. Oh, and I'm changing that one. Actually, I'm going to want to change that anyway because I'm pretty sure that is the microphone gain. Which, you know what? I'm going to break out the manual right now. I had already set this radio all up, but I wanted to show you guys how to turn it into a CB. So I turned it back into a 10-meter ham radio temporarily so we could go through the process and you could see how it was done. But now that means I need to reset all of my settings, which, as you saw, my clarifier was on the default setting, and I had to move it over for my half a channel. So let's see, IC9, that is the mic gain. So I'm going to go in there. I'm running the stock microphone on this, so we're going to crank that up as high as it'll go. And it looks like 63 is the highest it'll go. Hey, that's a unit number of one of my locals. Oh, after that we have the Vox settings and the dimmer, which is what we were just at. Oop. I forgot to long hold it. Oh, wow, isn't that kind of weird? In my manual here, it doesn't say that that's supposed to be there. But that's too soon to be seeing that. Yeah, that's the dimmer for the Vox. RCDT, what is that one? That is for ham radio, guys. We're gonna skip over that. There's a lot of functions in here, and in the manual tells you what they're all for. These are N9 was N9. I don't see N9 in my manual. Well, that one, I know what that one is. That's the received noise reduction, and we're going to put that on level 1. It goes up to 5, yes. Received noise reduction, we want that on. ICP, that's for the microphone setting, and a lot of people confuse it and they think this mic is an electric. It's not. That's a dynamic microphone. They call this a low impedance dynamic microphone. It's only 150 ohm impedance on this microphone, but the radio is already set for dynamic. So as long as you didn't change it, it's already from the factory. They have it set to dynamic. N09. What is N09? N09. Oh, the N09 is the for the talkback. We don't need the talkback. Oh, I'm trying to get to the areas that are relevant to CB radio use. Again, I know this is a 10-meter ham radio, but we're on a CB radio channel, so we're going to talk about it like it's a fancy high-end CB radio. Oh, and the menu went away. That is one thing that, well, I'm not real fond of. Once you get into the menu, it brings you right back to the beginning again. So you got to scroll back through, and if you accidentally missed the one you wanted, well, you got to go around all the way around again. Clarifier is set for receive and transmit. A lot of ham radio features and a lot of protection features. Voltage protection, SWR protection. There's also, let me find it real quick here in the manual, because the SWR meter on this radio is kind of interesting. It can be shown on 2 different areas. Oh, let me try and find. I just had it a little while ago and now I've lost it. Alright, we're looking for TLD. There it is. And if we go in here and we change that to SR, give it a second for that menu to go away. Now when I key up the microphone, the display changes to my SWR. And the power meter stays as power output. But now let's go back in. Let's shut that back off. Well, in there we can have it set for voltage, so to display your voltage when you're transmitting. You can display the timeout timer, the time remaining. Let's put it back like that. Yep, now when we key up, we don't have the SWR showing up. But if we press this button over here, now if you watch the signal meter, it changes to an SWR. See, SWR showed up right there? And that's representing a perfect match. 1 bar on is a flat match, which is without modulation what will show for an SWR. All right, let's move on. We've covered the manual. Like I said, it's pretty in-depth. It covers all of the menu functions. For most of these functions, you go into them, set them once, and you never need to do it again. So you don't really need to worry about having to remember what everything is, which, as you see, there's so much of it in there that without the manual, I have no idea what it actually does, because I can't remember. But a lot of it, most of it, you set it once and you're done. Everything else that you need is right on the face of the radio. The only thing you might need to access now and then, I think, is the very first option, which is your microphone gain. All right, that function button, now that we're done with the function part of that button, or the menu part of that button, now we have the function part. If you short press it, you see the F showed up on the screen. Now it enables the bottom options on all the other buttons. Oh, it goes away on its own. We have Roger beep, which is also the control for that beep, so that we can stop hearing that beep if we press that. Now, no more beep. We'll shut that back off. We have the Roger beep. Like I said, that's also the regular key beep. Noise blanker and noise limiter, and the lock button. Dual watch function, and to shut the LCD off. So if you press that function button, you could, if you're using it in the car and you don't like the bright light while driving. Oh, I pressed the wrong button. Okay, below that, we have the emergency, which will bring you to channel 9 and 19. I believe that it can be reprogrammed on the computer software, which I will show you that shortly. We have to change the meter for what you see on the meter. Oh, it helps if you press that function button first. Oh, it shuts the meter on and off. That's what it is. Press the function, and the meter went away. Press the function button again, bring the meter back. We have the timeout timer to turn it on and off. The high cut, which we're going to turn that high cut on, because I'm a sideband user. We don't need the noise blanker on, but we need the high cut on. And we already turned on the noise reduction. You can see that NR right on the screen. That's for the noise reduction circuit. And we have the scan button. Oh, I'm sorry, I skipped over the other part of that. That's also the 10 kilohertz jump. You see it just went to channel 39, back to 38. And then we have the scan and the scan list. I'm not sure what that is. Let's see. I guess I don't have anything in there, so there's nothing to list. All right, covers the front of the radio. Let's talk about the microphone. It's a small microphone. This thing is small. It has a really unique feature, though. You see that AQ button? It's for the automatic squelch, but it has a dual purpose. Let me put this radio on a channel, a frequency that nobody's using. We'll go to 475. This one's always quiet around here. If there is any traffic, it's on upper sideband. We're on lower sideband. If you key up the microphone and you press that button, you notice there's modulation being put out. When I press the button, it emits a tone. It's a Morse code keyer. So if you key up the microphone, your Morse code keyer is right there on that button. It is also useful for if you're one of those anal guys and you really got to know what your SWR is when you're on sideband. Well, you can key up the mic, press the, you can turn down the mic gain on the radio first. Key up the mic, press the tone button, and you will get a continuous, steady signal coming out of the radio to check your SWR. Also, well, it's useful too on the power meter. If you want to check your power output on sideband, instead of whistling or blowing into the microphone or the god-awful audio, key up the mic, press the button, and then take a peek at your watt meter. We'll do that now. Let me bring you up. Now that we've shown you the microphone, let me bring you up to the watt meter, and I'll show you what this radio is putting out. Okay, right now we're currently on lower sideband. I have the watt meter set at 100 watts, so we're going to be looking at that middle scale. And watch, we're going to key up the mic and press that button. And what's that telling us? That's telling us power output's kind of low. What do I have that set at? Oh, you know what? It's going to tell us we're low because I've got it running through an amplifier. And actually, let me give it a whistle just to see. Maybe that tone doesn't do full modulation. Well, that's better. I guess the tone isn't good for checking wattage. With the tone, it's putting out about 24 watts. With a whistle, between 35 and 40 on sideband. Oh, I just flipped it to FM. And about the same, probably about 37 on FM. I do have loss, like I said, because this is connected from the radio to my amplifier to the watt meter, and then the antenna is connected to that. So there is loss in the line. To get a true watt reading, this thing should be hooked directly to the watt meter. But we're close enough. It probably is exactly 40 watts on FM. And if we wanted to see AM just for giggles, we're showing with the power turned all the way up, we're showing a 10 watt dead key. And same thing, 37 watt swing. And wait a minute. And where I'm running it with the little 2-pill amplifier that I have here, the dead key of 4 watts, swinging up to almost 20. That setting actually works on both AM and sideband. Turn halfway up, we're doing about 14 watts on sideband, which the amplifier really likes that. The radio also comes with a USB programming cable. We have a port on the back of the radio that plugs into, and we can, oh, that's taken off on me. And we can open up the computer program. Hold on one second and we'll do that. So we have the computer program that allows you to remap the channels and change a lot of the features that are built into that radio. I think almost all of this is also accessible right in the radios menu. So if you can't figure out how to get it connected to the computer, or you don't have a computer, which is the case a lot nowadays, you don't really need to use this. But it is a fantastic feature, and for an old computer geek like myself, well, I kind of enjoy having access to the radio through my computer. But again, you can see right there all the stuff that you can control through the computer software. Let's lift that window up a little bit so we can see the whole thing. Actually, how about... we can see my Activate Windows watermark down there on the bottom of my screen. See it down there. Oh, Microsoft has pushed me. I tried Linux. Well, Linux has a random restart issue and it was driving me nuts. So I'm back to trying Windows 10. All right. Let me get away from my little rant about Windows. But we have a lot of controls built in here. One thing I noticed on this, unlike some of the other radios I've had recently, the Roger beep. I guess it must just be a single tone, and you can choose the frequency of the tone and the duration of that tone, which I thought that was pretty cool. It's kind of like, you can make it sound like an old 2950s Roger beep, which they had, in my opinion, the best Roger beep ever. All right, guys. That's it. That's the new Retevis Ailunce HS4. It's sold as a 10-meter radio, but as you saw, this thing is just so easy to convert and turn it into a CB. I've actually been using this thing. This is my third day with it hooked up on my desk. I've really been enjoying this radio. And one thing I've noticed with it, noise level. At night, that thing drops right down to nothing. That meter shows absolutely no noise after, we'll say, like 9 o'clock at night. And even during the day, it's not bad. Some of my other newer radios during the day show 5 to 7 dB of noise. This one during the day shows 3 to 5. Let's see if we can get to... There's not going to be any quiet channels right now. There's activity everywhere. It has memory. Look at that. The noise blanker is on channel 39. It's not on channel 38. High cut is on channel 38. It's not on channel 39. Oh, the camera went blurry. My hand getting in shot keeps messing up. I didn't notice. Hopefully it wasn't too blurry for you. But where is that high cut? Let's turn that high cut back on for channel 39. I did notice that too, playing with this thing. The clarifier. If we go... Let's go somewhere where it won't matter to me later if I mess it up. If we go and we change that one, now we'll put that one there. If we go back, but now see if we go up, we're on 285. But even though I put the clarifier back, these two are still on the zeros because that's where I left them. We go down again, we're back to the 5s. But I left those two on the zeros, so now I have to go back to each one and put it back on the 5s. And I did notice another thing too. If again, this radio is anal user proof. You know how some guys, you start messing with that clarifier and then it ends up being way off. See, it's pointing way over there. We're at 27500. Shut the radio off, center it again, turn the radio back on, and look, we're still at 27500. So if it ends up bugging you that the knob is not pointing to where it's supposed to be because you played with it for a while, just shut the radio off, recenter it, turn it back on. I also noticed that that works fantastic for the channel setting too, because we'll say, let's put that on 38, which is my primary channel. So we'll center that knob and wait for it. We're still on 38. So now my knob is right there, easy to use. I know normally I take these style knobs off of my radios and put round knobs. Unfortunately, I don't have any black ones to put on here, and this radio just would not look right with chrome knobs. So I'm going to have to do a little hunting. I do want to find some round knobs for this radio, for these three, and for this one. For these controls, I don't mind those being off. For the clarifier, it makes it easy to identify where it's set at, and same thing for these. It makes it easier to identify where you're currently set at. But for these controls, I prefer round knobs. So I'm going to do some hunting for my HS4 and see if I can find some round knobs. Other than that, I'm absolutely loving this radio. The mic's a little on the small side. It's a little tiny, and I will tell you, it keys up easy. You barely got to press that button, and this thing is keying up. But that tone feature on the automatic squelch button is just neat. All right, guys, that's the Retevis HS4, the Ailunce HS4. Hey, I'll catch you guys next time. Oh, and Happy New Year.